Hey you guys, it's Britt. Today we're here to talk about the Dougherty dozen. She recently put out a video that I wanted to talk about first, and then I'm also going to hit on some subsequent issues or thoughts. So if you're interested in hearing my thoughts, please keep watching. All right, you guys, so chances are we're all familiar with who the Dougherty Dozen is. They have presence on all kinds of social media platforms. Their YouTube channel is just growing so quickly. It's a little alarming because when you have here's my whole thing. When you have what would be considered an average family, and you have kids in that household and the parents decide to go on social media and they just so happen to get kind of what is considered overnight success, that can be a positive in some ways, because obviously the money, you're going to be able to provide a lot of things for your kids that maybe you couldn't provide for them before. And you might be able to introduce them to new experiences and all of this kind of stuff. But is that worth their privacy being neglected or ignored? Is that worth it? And I think a lot of times what we see with family vloggers is, for them, it is worth it, because they not only do it once, but they do it over and over and over again. For some of these kids, their entire childhood is content. Every single health issue that they've ever had, from a bumped knee all the way to something more serious like a really invasive surgery, is content for the parents. And that's where it becomes really concerning. So that small little piece of, oh, we can go on extra family vacations, is that worth exploiting your kids? And as I said, I think that we've seen an answer pretty clear from a lot of family vloggers that it is worth it for them. And I think that's sad. And I really worry about these kids going, not only today, but into the future as well. Now, the whole thing with Alicia is they definitely got some really quick, again, what I would consider, quote, overnight success on social media. And when you see people like this, a lot of the audience connects with them because they're really relatable. Oh, this is just a, whatever. I don't like saying normal family, but this is a average family just living their life out on the internet and showing us what they do day to day. But as the money starts to increase, the relatability starts to decrease. And that's where you can get a really obvious disconnect between the creator and the audience, where it was there really strong early on, but then you start to see all of these insane hauls and all the money that's being spent. And it's like, okay, instead of showing me what you're buying for groceries that might be relatable, even to another larger family or whatever, now it's just become kind of like this weird flex culture within family vloggers, where it's like, how much money can I spend at Costco? In this sitting, can I spend $1,500? And next month, I'm going to spend $1,800, and then so on and so forth. And what that does is it starts to really alienate a lot of your fan base. And maybe, I always think of that Rachel Hollis video that was, I think it was last year, where she was like, I don't want to be relatable. But being relatable is really important to some degree. Now, I understand what's relatable to you might not be what I'm doing. And what I consider relatable is not what a lot of other people are doing. But as long as there's that genuine effort to not be just going out of your way to flex on people, I think that's where a lot of people start to feel disconnected. And I think people really started to recognize that with Alicia when her grocery hauls were just completely out of control with all of this junk food. It's like, what is the point in having literally a room in your house, floor to ceiling, chips, cookies, junk?
In the pantry room, we have cereal, snacks, and bins of snack-sized chips. Over here, we have canned fruits and veggies and peanut butter. Out in the garage, we have more. Over on our shelves, we have one for chow mein, one for drinks, a shelf for pasta sauce, pasta, condiments, beans, And over here is mac and cheese, soups, and dressings. See you next time.
You know, for most people, there's no added value in seeing a room in someone's house that has 25 bags of Doritos and 18 bags of M&Ms. That's just why, you know? So either way, I wanted to put the disclaimer in the beginning because I know that relatability is really important, but I also know that relatability looks different to each person. But when I see something like this put on such a grand level, that's kind of where I look at it and I'm like, 99% of her audience would not be able to even remotely relate to what she did in this video. And the video that we're talking about is her packing and prepping for their trip to New York City. Now, I watched the entire video and I have a few thoughts. Will some of her fans, and maybe even people that are not fans of hers, think that I am being a little nitpicky in this video? Absolutely. They always do. I could literally be standing up for these kids' privacy and people will say that I'm picking at it. That's your opinion. I have mine. I choose to share my opinions on my channel, and that's what I'm doing in this video. I'm reacting to her very public presence online and sharing my opinions. People can share their opinions about my content, and that's just the way the internet works. Just a, reminder. Some of these might seem like they're no big deal, but I want to tie some of them back to the relatability factor in how this weird niche of flex culture can really make people feel bad about themselves, and that's where they start to disconnect. So if you want your presence online to be long-winded and really strong, I don't think that this type of content is going to make people feel like, I feel really good about supporting this person. This person who has in the past admitted that she makes approximately $42,000 a month. Monthly incoming, teacher, coach, cleaning, online job, Instagram, Facebook, promos, child tax. By doing social media and other ways that she's making money, she does not work a traditional job, which is fine. But that is a lot of money to also be asking for people to send you stuff to your P.O. box. You have an Amazon wish list. Why are you asking, why do you even have a P.O. box when you're making $42,000 a month approximately? Even if someone wants to say, oh, well, it's so that people can send the kids birthday cards or birthday presents, I would not feel right taking even $2, a cheap birthday card from a subscriber when I am making $42,000 a month. For my kids, in which some of these subscribers have built inappropriate relationships with these kids. So to me, accepting birthday cards for my kids from strangers on the internet is not only watering these inappropriate relationships, but it's unneeded. If you want to say happy birthday, leave a comment. To me, that's a little weird, going to a store, buying a birthday card and sending it to a child that I don't know, I will never meet, and I know only what the mother has exploited about their story. To me, that's just very odd. And again, that's just my opinion. So let's go down the list. First of all, shopping galore. As I've watched more of her content, in my opinion, she has a shopping problem. And while that would not so much be a point of conversation for most people, when you make all of your money that you're spending off the backs of your children, that's where it becomes a topic of conversation. So let's just say that Alicia was working a 9-to-5, or even if she was a YouTuber and she had, really built up her own platform by not using her kids' stories, her kids' photos, putting her kids in challenges that make them, sometimes look a little uncomfortable, exploiting their at times, very tragic childhoods, slamming and shading the birth parents of these kids, You made your money in a dirty way, my opinion. So when you're using that dirty money to just support what I think is a bad shopping habit and is very well known, that's where it becomes a topic of conversation. This is not just someone who, makes their money and that's just what they do is shop. I would never make that a point of conversation. Once you bring into the situation making money off the backs of your kids, many of whom are adopted, with the latest two, they're kinship. So they're not permanent placement, long-term adopted, like it's, a done deal. And even then it would still be a problem. But these kids don't know if they're going to stay with Alicia. They've had their stories used and used and used, and birth parents, have been brought into the conversation in a not so nice way. So yeah, I mean, if you're making what I and a lot of other people consider dirty money, then I'm going to notice when you're buying all of this unnecessary shit, as well as many other people have noticed it. A few of the new things that she bought were all new suitcases. Not sure why. She said that the old ones were dirty and not in a place where they could use them. To me, Alicia's just someone who has to buy all brand new, every single thing, every single trip that she goes on. And to me, it's just like money just blowing out the windows. She bought new shoes for everyone, new matching shirts, several sets, a new stroller because she said that her two youngest kids would not be able to keep up with the amount of walking that they would be doing in New York. Some people have had mixed opinions about older kids being put in strollers, but if that's what she thinks is best, that's kind of the last thing on my list as far as topics of conversation. She also took it upon herself to share more health diagnoses during this YouTube video, which is something she's definitely a repeat offender about. I will never understand this. Why do parents feel okay sharing their children's medical information with the internet? I mean, I know why, because it gives them more engagement, more clicks, more views. And it keeps people coming back because now they're curious in the health journey of these kids, which is fucking weird, just saying it. But she shares more of these, diagnoses. She likes to pepper it in. She also really likes to talk about how one of her kids has autism. Like, she mentions it every single time with this specific child over and over and over and over again. And it's almost like anytime she mentions him, it's da-da-da, my child with autism. Da-da-da, my child with autism. Which is just, again, ties into this whole, it's nobody's business. Why do you keep mentioning it? She could at least wait till the child is a teenager so that he can say, or communicate with her, like, okay, I'm okay with some of this being part of our content. I'm okay with participating in it. It all just comes back to waiting for that age where they can make a more educated decision on, am I going to consent to this or am I not? There was a comment that I found as a major red flag, and a subscriber had asked about if she could share more information about the kids' health diagnoses, which is so weird. You're weird. If you are a Dougherty stan and you happen to come across this video, I am going to share the comment. That's weird. Why do you want to know medical info about children? Something else that I noticed is as she was organizing these shirts, she noted for a couple of the kids, like, oh, so-and-so, oh, this is a 3XL shirt, this is for so-and-so. I just want to use kind of this as an opportunity to say, a lot of teens, especially once they're in that high school, middle school age group, and I'm speaking from direct experience on this, a lot of teens have body image issues. And I know for me, if my dad would have gone on video, which he would never, But if he went on there and said, oh, this 3XL, this is for this daughter. Like, I really try to shy away from talking about body image stuff on a regular basis on my channel. But when I heard that, I just thought, is that going to lead to issues at school for that child? Is the child going to be teased? Are they going to be made fun of because of this? Being a teenager is such a difficult time in a kid's life, and to be not only spread all over the internet, but then you have your mother heavily focusing on what size you are. And it shouldn't be about what size you are. It should be about, are you happy? Do you feel good? Are you healthy? And again, like, I'm not a nutritionist. I know that some of that ties back to her hauls and the stuff that she's supplying in the house. But the way that she made it a point to name the size and then name the child that was going to be wearing it just kind of bugged me, because I know how detrimental body image issues are for a lot of teens. Your body's growing, you're feeling weird, you have all kinds of emotions, and a lot of them have anxiety and social issues, making friends. So for that, I just felt like it could have gone unmentioned, and it would have been a way for her to keep her kids a little bit, protected. Like, I don't know, this whole thing is so frustrating. She also mentioned that she was getting 3 hotel rooms. The first thing I thought of is, why not get an Airbnb? To me, it just seems like a lot of unwasted money, but whatever. Now, they are going to the Lion King, which tickets are very expensive to go to Lion King, but they're also going to the Mets game. And someone invited them to the Mets game. I am assuming it's a company, because they're going to be, there because they are public figures, or whatever you want to call it. They're most likely getting paid to go to this Mets game on top of the tickets being comped. So I would be curious as to what company invited them and why that company is okay with Alicia exploiting all of these kids to the degree that she has. So I will keep an eye out for that and update my thoughts later. Scammers were spamming her comment section on that video like crazy. One of those, oh, it looks like the Dougherty dozen, but it's actually a scammy giveaway. I hope that none of the commenters fell for this trap, but it was like every single comment was replied to with this scammy account. Something else I noticed in the comment section was that a lot of people were asking about their arrival date and how long they were going to be there, when were they leaving. Again, none of your damn business. I know that this is someone who has public social media, but why do you want to know when she's there? Are you going to pull a Sunkissed mama and follow her around New York City with pastries and then surprise all of them? To me, even if a YouTuber that I really liked and enjoyed was going to be in my city, I don't care when you're going to be here. Why? I'm not going to come meet you, so why do I need to know when you're going to be here? It's just, again, another way to highlight these very odd relationships that some people have with this family. Speaking of people who really wanted to know their arrival date and departure date, how long they would be there, I really hope that she's not going to be posting TikToks in real time, because that could lead to a really big security concern. And the reason I say that is because we always go back to Auntie Lauren, and I hate that she's the exhibit A of what a really bad and potentially dangerous parasocial relationships looks like. But look at her actions. I'm going by what she's actually said and done. You could have someone who is watching their TikTok, and because they have so many kids, yeah, she said she's going to have them wearing matching shirts, and there's 4 adults for, all the kids, and I really hope that nothing bad happens. But if you're posting in real time to Instagram or TikTok or doing YouTube live streams, and you have someone who is in your, immediate area, if someone wanted to do something with one of those kids or try to, take one of the kids, God forbid, and I know that this is really scary stuff, but this is actually very realistic and can happen so quickly. So I hope that she won't be, but based on her history, she probably will be, and I hope that everything is okay. She also, this was like a weird flex kind of thing, but she was like, oh, I ordered so much from Old Navy that I had to place 2 different orders because it wouldn't let me check out with the amount of items that I had in my cart. I don't know, weird flex, but whatever. She also talks a lot about her kids' underwear, and this is just, why? Why are you talking about that? Why would that even, I don't care if you're packing for a trip every weekend. Why are you talking about your children's underwear? Knowing that people have eyes on her channel. This is not someone who has 100 subscribers and nobody knows that she exists. There are people watching her. There are bad people watching her, in my opinion, as we can see, Auntie Lauren. From my seat, I'm not going to say Auntie Lauren is a bad person, but I do think that some of the actions that she has shown are not good. And that's where I'll leave it for now. At the end of the video, she also, again, weird flex, shows an $820 Amazon haul where she had to get nice shoes for Lion King, order shorts, order all this stuff, order blankets and cardigans. And again, to me, it was just kind of like way to flex on your subscribers that some of them probably haven't been on a vacation in 5 years. And, you know, here you are having to buy brand new everything for every single kid. Like, she acts like the kids don't have clothes and don't have shoes. I don't know. I don't like this flexing on people who are going through hard times. And I know that that's not her fault, but she also has full control of how much she shows.
Plus, all of the guys needed nice dress shoes, and boys. And then I got the girls' ballet flats because we still need to walk a bit, and I thought that heels probably was not a good option. I got blue shorts organized for our trip to New York City for our family.
This was Exhibit A, her participating in flex culture in a little bit of a different way. And I have every right to have an opinion about it. So if you watch this or you ever watch her and you feel bad about what you're doing for your kids or your family, take a break from her channel. Step away. Step away for a couple days, a week, a month, or maybe forever. Whatever feels right to you. But you should not be watching someone's content and say, wow, I'm not doing enough for my kids, or I'm not doing, I'm not doing this enough. I'm not doing that enough. I've always said, if your kids are happy, healthy, have a safe home, and, meals every day, you are doing just fine. There's no need to buy, 18 boxes of Rice Krispie treats. They don't need bubble gum and milkshakes and all this kind of stuff. Is it nice once in a while to have a treat? It is, but also it's abnormal to have, your pantry stocked to the point where it looks like a movie theater candy concession stand. That's not normal. And kids thrive off of unconditional love, attention, quality time, not peanut butter cups and potato chips. And that's my opinion. So either way, the one last thing I want to say is she's accepting food items to her P.O. box, which, as I said in the beginning of this video, to me, it's weird. You make plenty of money. Why are you even, why are we here? Why are you accepting food? This goes back to a possible risk that she could be opening them up to. If someone got sickly obsessed or like really hated this family, they could send food to the P.O. box and something could have been done to that food. And for her to be accepting it and, introducing it into their home, to me, I just really worry about that. And on top of it, I would make a request, no food, no toys, because she can easily provide that for her kids. No gifts, no toys, no food items, no clothing. She can pay for that herself. So for someone who is, possibly living paycheck to paycheck, to take their money to send this family clothing or toys, spend that on your own family. Take them out to dinner, or, you know, use that for your own kids' toys, or put it in a vacation fund where you can take a, you know, a quick weekend trip if that's something that you've wanted to do. So either way, I'm done ranting. I feel good now. So for now, if you like the video, please leave a like and a comment. And if you'd like to see more from me in the future, please subscribe. I'll see you guys soon. Bye.